Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys about multiple comments that I got yesterday. Multiple people had things to say when I talked about pre-workouts in the Vince DeMonte video about pre-workouts. And so let me go ahead and put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. All right, people always raise the point, well, I need a pre-workout because of my busy job to make it through my training sessions and everything else. And then I always have several people say this. And again, it shows these people have not followed me since the beginning. They don't know my own training history or anything else. They always say things like, well, you know, some of us don't have YouTube full-time and we have busy jobs, and so therefore we're not in your situation and therefore we need this pre-workout. And again, that highlights people's ignorance. I'm 41 years old. Okay, I'm 41 years old. YouTube has not been around my entire adult life. All right, so some common sense would dictate the fact that I have survived. The fact that I have survived to 41 means that at some point in my life, I probably had some gainful employment outside of being a YouTuber. In my late 20s and around the time I turned 30, I had a corporate job where I worked 60 hours Monday through Friday. So, and I've said this before, I've said this numerous times in older videos. I had a corporate job during that time. I worked 5 12-hour shifts. I still managed to make it to the gym. Now, was it easy? No. Did I have to structure my training around that? Yes. Did that mean that I couldn't train as hard and I had to do shorter training sessions because I had to go work a 12-hour shift again the next day? Yes. I still managed at that time to, at my best, during over a 2-year period of time where I was training after work for about 2.5 years while working 60 hours a week. And I trained on my work days. I took the weekends off. Right? I took the weekends off. I still managed to, at my best, manage to hit a 405 bench and a 550 squat a couple different times during that time period at the gym. I was stronger then than I am now as a full-time YouTuber in my 40s. But no surprise, I mean, when you're younger and healthier and have a lot of training experience up to that point, I had a fair amount of training experience up to that point. Yes, I was off of gear again. I had been blasting quite a bit, but I had been off of gear well over a year, right? In fact, I was off gear for the entirety of that time. Before I started doing that 60-hour-a-week work, I had actually come off gear several months before. And so for that time period, I still managed to actually be bigger and stronger than I am now while working a 12-hour shift and without pre-workout. So when people say silly shit like that, it's like, do you not understand how ridiculous that is? I haven't been a full-time YouTuber the entirety of my adult life. I have actually done other work besides this. That may come as a surprise to some people. Some people will deny that because there are people out there who say I've been on welfare or something my entire life or something like that. The absurdity of the internet. But yes, I have worked 60-hour weeks. So it's funny, I had people say 12-hour shifts. Well, I need it because of a 12-hour shift. Really, I didn't. And I'm not trying to be a dick by saying that. Let's highlight the reality of it. Let's go back to the point. The data on it shows that pre-workouts do not help with your strength or muscle gain outcomes. Just because you think you get a better workout from it doesn't mean that you're getting gains from it. Here's what I would ask, guys. If your lifestyle is busy and you have a really busy job, or you have children and you work 12-hour shifts and things like that, let me ask you a simple question. Do you think that you should train the exact same way and follow the exact same routine and intensity levels and volumes and progression patterns that you did when you were in college? Or if you had just a 40-hour-a-week desk job where you got to sit down and have a desk job for 8 hours a day, do you really think your training should be identical? No. It shouldn't be. Your training has to revolve around your lifestyle. If your training didn't have to revolve around your lifestyle, people wouldn't bring up points like, well, Jason, you don't work a full-time job. Yeah, do you know exactly the point? Your lifestyle will impact your training. welcome to reality. You can't go 100% and get maximized results without using drugs when you work 12-hour shifts and have kids and other stuff. You have other things that you've made a priority. You chose to start a family. You chose to have a busy job, and that's good. That's not a bad thing. That's not a negative thing. However, you're probably going to have to sacrifice 5 or 10% of your gains to do that. Okay, that's just a reality. You're going to gain maybe 1 less pound of muscle every year probably because of that. But you get those other things out of it. It's just a matter of priorities. Someone who wants to maximize all of their gains has to make it their full-time job. I mean, if you wanted to be the best you could possibly be, reach 100% of your potential, you probably need to get rid of everything but your training. And I wouldn't recommend you do that unless you're going to be a professional athlete. Again, it's called professional athlete for a reason, right? We all make choices. So you might gain a little less, and your training is going to reflect that. Let me ask a simple question. When you start looking at and you understand the stress recovery adaptation cycle, in what world, from a programming perspective, does it make any sense to go work a 12-hour shift and be tired instead of just doing the training that your body will let you get away with? Instead of just doing the training that your body will let you get away with, you go take a stim, right? Take a stim after work, after working a 12-hour shift and you're tired, so that you can push 10% or 20% more in the gym during that session. That's probably going to reduce your sleep, so you're going to dig deeper into your recovery inroads, and then you're going to sleep less, and you're going to be more fatigued because you trained harder, probably got less rest, and then go work another 12-hour shift. And you do this multiple times per week. From a stress recovery adaptation cycle and programming perspective, in what world, what delusional ass world do you live in where you think that you're going to gain more muscle and strength as a result of doing this? All right? You completely destroyed the recovery side of it. If you've got to work multiple 12-hour shifts a week, using stimulants in between to push yourself harder in the gym is not going to net more gains. It is not going to net more gains. This is delusional ass weird bodybuilder thinking or something. This is not proper programming. You're going to gain the amount of gains that you can gain based upon the rest and recovery you're going to be able to get through that week. I would suggest, strongly suggest, that throwing money away on these silly pre-workouts because you think you need the pick-me-up when your body is telling you, hey, we're probably going to have to coast a little bit. We're going through a rough ride in our recovery. Job is busy. Life is busy. I'm only going to be able to handle so much workload in the gym in between multiple 12-hour shifts. Instead, what you should probably be focusing on is the most efficient workout you can get, your body will let you get away with, and finding a way to get more rest and sleep and recovery when you're working 3 or 4 or 5 12-hour shifts in a row and trying to train between them. All right, common sense. I mean, at a certain point, every coach would tell you this from a training perspective, but common sense should dictate to a person at this point that recovery does matter. Your sleep matters, and you're doing something that's going to interfere with your recovery and sleep during a fatiguing part of your week so that you can train beyond what your body is letting you train with and recover from. Again, this is why anabolics become very, very popular. Because, guys can blast gear and they might get away with that. Yeah, it'll let you get away with that because you're getting recovery in a bottle. You're getting muscle growth in a bottle. But if you're trying to train clean and you do silly shit like this and then you wonder why you haven't got the results that you think you should be getting, might I suggest to you that you're trying to disrupt your entire rest recovery adaptation cycle with a stimulant during the parts of the week when you can't train due to overall fatigue, that you can't maximize your training due to overall fatigue. No, you can maximize your training. It's called you do what your body will allow you to do and still get the rest that you need in between. You'll still make progress, but you're not going to make more progress just because you've stimulated more in the gym during the period of the week to where your fatigue levels are so high that you're not getting enough rest and recovery because you have a busy ass job and you work your ass off. Again, this should be common sense. It should be common sense, but apparently it's not. I don't know. I don't get it. And maybe it's because people don't understand this. They've been watching all these other people with these guys blasting tons of gear who just hit it super hard in the gym and 35 sets per muscle group and everything else and force reps and everything, and they think that that's the norm without realizing these guys might be pro bodybuilders. They don't have busy jobs and they're on mind-boggling amounts of drugs. All right, that's not going to work for you. You have to train within the limitations of your fatigue and your recovery based upon your current life circumstances. And using a stimulant to shortcut that may not produce the desired results. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.